We're going to do Sturm 8.15 in HEC RAS. So this problem says a steady discharge of 8,000 CFS is released by turbines at a dam into the downstream river at full load. So this looks like this. We have a reservoir that's releasing water into a downstream river through a turbine. And then the problem says the discharge is increased linearly from the minimum rate of 700 CFS to 8,000 CFS in 20 minutes. It's held steady at 8,000 CFS for 2 hours. And then it's brought back down to 700 CFS in 20 minutes. Then they give us the river cross section, which we've already made in Excel. I won't cover that. I think everyone understands, but if not, ask me and I can explain. And then we're given more information about the bed slope and Manning's N. And then the problem is asking what will be the time to peak and the peak discharge. So how long to get to peak discharge, and then what is peak discharge at a location of 25,000 feet downstream of the dam. So I've drawn in here from 25,000, think of this as the station. That HEC RAS tends to go from largest station down to smallest. So I've made my x-axis. Similarly here, I've gone from largest to smallest. So 25,000 down to 0. And so we need to find the time to peak and peak discharge. So I think we've all made our cross-sectional data. So this is our cross-section. And then I've also put in the flow hydrograph. So I've said we start at 700 CFS, since that's the initial rate. And then the turbine increases the load to 8,000 CFS in 20 minutes. So I take 20 minutes from 0 and then go to 8,000. And then we stay there for a long time. And then it decreases back down to 700. And at around, this is 2 hours. So after this, I've put my hydrograph to stay at 700 for a long time, so that we can see the peak flow dissipate, so we can see the flow coming back to normal flow, coming back to steady flow. So I've said the changes occur in 160 minutes, but it runs for 5 hours. So I'm making the model run for 5 hours or 300 minutes so that we can see the flow return back to steady. So that's why I've done that. And you'll see in the model that it takes some time for the flow to go back to the original flow of 700 CFS in the full range. So now we'll go to HEC RAS and we'll put everything in HEC RAS. So we need to make a new project. Make a new folder. Okay, so this is my project. And it says the units are in US customary units, and that's good because our units are also in US customary. So we will start by making the geometry. So we click this button is the geometry button. If you hover or you put the mouse over the buttons, it tells you what they are. So this says view, edit geometric data. These are your flow data buttons. And if you're not sure which button, if you just put the mouse over them, it will tell you. So for geometric data, we will start by putting our cross sections. So first we will make a river reach. We'll just say this is our river. To end it, double click. And now we'll go to cross-section editor. My window's opening. Okay. So we need to first select an existing river. I see. I missed the window down here. So river, let's say it's Sturm, reach 1. So now we go to cross-section editor. And the first thing we need to do is click add a new cross-section. And it's asking for a new river station for the new cross-section. So because HEC RAS considers the largest station numbers to be upstream, like here I've shown larger station number is upstream from smaller, I will name this first cross-section 2500, just it's at station 2500. Okay, and so now all we need to do is copy these values, and you do have to highlight at least as many as you're pasting in. If you just highlight that, it will only paste one value. Like you have to highlight the area or larger than the area that you want to paste. So we've put those things in. Our reach lengths, this is how long the reach is downstream from your cross section. So for now, we are saying that we are creating one cross section at 25,000 feet and one at 0. So I'm just going to say the reach lengths are 25,000 feet for all of them. And now it's asking for Manning's n values. I believe that is 0.035. So, and then the main channel bank stations. So this is where your channel is starting and ending the stations. So we'll look at these stations actually. So our left bank we'll say is at station 0. And then our right bank is just our last station. So I'll say 324. And now we'll hit apply data. And this is our cross section. Looks right to me. So now we will copy this cross section. And it's asking for the next river station, and we're just going to go from station 25,000 all the way to station 0. And then we'll interpolate in between them. So you copy the next data, paste this data in. Because this is the last station, we're going to say that there's no reach length beyond the last station. And the main channel bank stations are the same. So now we'll hit apply data. And now we need to save. I think we have to exit this first. And then we save geometry data. Okay, so our river link or our river reach is showing 25,000 and 0. So now actually we will need to interpolate between the two of them so that we will get stations. We'll do stations every 1,000 feet. So under tools, you'll go to XS interpolation. It stands for cross-section interpolation. And we'll just do within a reach. I think we could probably do this also because we have 2 cross sections, but I think either. within reach is good. So then this menu comes up, you select your river and your reach. And now it's asking which station is your upstream station. So which station has a higher elevation? For us, we did 25,000. So 25,000 downstream 0. And the maximum distance between cross sections, sorry, we'll say 1,000. So that means at every 1,000 feet, we'll have a cross section be made. So now we'll click interpolate. And so this is the cross sections that it's giving us. So it looks like it did everything. Yeah. Okay, so every 1,000 feet, we have had it make a cross section. So this looks right. So we'll save our geometry data. And now we will need to enter our flow data. So flow data, this says perform an unsteady flow simulation. So we'll want to click on this to put in our flow data. Oh, I got ahead of myself. Not there yet. Okay, so this is view, edit, unsteady flow data. So this is where we will edit our unsteady or enter our unsteady flow data. And this is a simulation. So we'll do that next, but first we need to view, edit, unsteady flow data. So we'll go here. And this is where we will put in our boundary conditions and our hydrograph. So it gives the upstream reach, the upstream cross section and the downstream cross section. So when we look at our problem, we need to think about where is this hydrograph that we've made, where is it applied? Because the turbine is here, we'll apply the hydrograph at the upstream cross section, so at 25,000. So under this boundary condition, we will click flow hydrograph. And then it gives us a space to put in a hydrograph. So let's look at our hydrograph. Our hydrograph is in minutes. So I've put time in minutes and then flow is in CFS. So over here right now, it's showing hours. And so we can change the hours by going up here and we need to go to 1 minute. So now it's showing 1 minute, 2 minute. It still says hours, but you can tell it's 1 minute. So if you change this, you can see it's every 2 minutes, 2, 4, 6, 8. But we'll do 1 minute. And the flow is in CFS. So now we actually can just copy and paste our hydrograph. And so if your hydrograph goes beyond the simulation time that HEC RAS has here, it's okay. It will automatically update and continue to fill beyond what it currently has. So don't worry, it will update and it will do what it needs to do. Oh, but you know what? I pasted in the wrong thing. I just needed to copy that. Okay. Okay, so now this is our flow. It goes from 700 up to 8,000. Okay. And we're just going to use the simulation time. And so we click OK. And now for the downstream reach, we need to put a boundary condition also. And so for downstream reach, the governing factor is just going to be normal depth. We don't have a rating curve, we don't have stage flow, we don't have a hydrograph or anything. So we just need to do normal depth. And for normal depth, actually all HEC RAS needs is the friction slope. It just needs the bed slope. So we're just gonna do 0.0005. 0.0005. And so for our downstream condition, we have normal depth, and that's all we need. So now we'll save the flow data. And we'll exit. Okay, so we have geometry data, flow data, and now we need to make a plan. So now we'll click perform an unsteady flow simulation. So I believe we do the plan. Sure. Okay, so in this window, we'll need to click short plan identifier. We'll just say 1. And let's just I'll just try this again. I missed a window that opened. I didn't see it. Okay, it looks like it saved what I had entered. So we need to click these 3 things. We need a geometry preprocessor, unsteady flow simulation, and post-processor. So for simulation time window, we can pick any date. I'll just pick September 15th, 2008, because it's close and it's easy. So we do need to pay attention to how long we're running our model for. I've said I'm running for 300 minutes for 5 hours. So we just pick the same day. It's only running for 5 hours, so it's not going to be running over multiple days. So we can say it runs from 00 to like 0500. And you'll need to do this format. This format is important where it's where it's these 4 numbers. So now we will set our computation interval. Because our flow hydrograph is in every 1 minute, I think having 1 minute interval sounds good. So I'll change these to 1 minute. I won't change the mapping output interval because we're not really mapping. So I don't think it really matters. So now I'll save. And now I think we're ready. So we'll hit compute and see what happens. So it looks like it's working well. And it's finished. Great. There have been a couple times I've done this where I've gotten an error about, oh gosh, what did it say? H tab parameter. So if you get an error and it says H tab parameter, you can always come into the geometry editor by going through here. And you can go to the H tab parameter. And if you click reset defaults, oftentimes that's all you need to do. You can click reset defaults, hit OK, resave your geometry data, and then try to run your plan again. And that's worked for me a couple times when I've gotten that error, but I don't always get the error. I'm not sure why. So now we will view our results. So we can tell things plotted. This is an example of a cross section. So you can see the flow come up and the flow come down in a cross section. And that's for cross section 0, but you can pick any cross section and analyze any cross section and see the flow come up and the flow come down. But let's find our profile. So this is our main profile. So if we hit play, we can see this wave come through and the wave decrease. And so you'll see I've run this for 5 hours, but even then it's not enough to fully restore this steady 700 CFS all the way down 25,000 feet down the reach. So ideally I would run this maybe for 7 hours, maybe even for 8 hours. I'm not sure. But putting more time to give the model to really come back to normal would be better than just doing 5 hours. So we can also look at the hydrographs. So this is a hydrograph. If you're looking for specific output charts, you can always just click around here and experiment until you find what you need. So you can change the hydrograph based on the station. And so this is just giving water level and elevation and time and date and the flow also. So we can see here at the downstream section, which is what the question's asking. They're asking 25,000 feet downstream, what's the time to peak and the peak discharge? So they're really looking for this point right, max, pretty much right there. This is the point that they're looking for. It's 2 hours and 47 minutes. You can see kind of down here, it says 2 hours, 47 minutes from the start, because this is running for the full 5 hours. And so 2 hours, 47 minutes. And the flow is around almost 7,500 CFS. So that's how you can also find the peak. I believe you can also see some charts. You want to see charts. Detailed output at cross section. So here you can go at every single cross section and you can look at specifically all of these things. But that's how you do Sturm 8.15 in HEC RAS.